Good afternoon, traders. Tony here from Easymarkets in the Sydney dealing room. Update for today: we've had some heavy selling at the late end of the US session as some optimism regarding some softening of Trump's tone towards China, with the indication that he wasn't looking for the harshest measures and blocking investment from Chinese into the US tech sector. Really didn't last long. The buying was pretty sharp there at the start of the US session, but the sell-off afterwards brought back to the same lows, has the market a little bit worried here about the positioning and the potential downside that we have to go here. The sort of candle there, the sort of selling on rally mode when it should have all been good. There wasn't a new headline that came out that was negative. Really has the a dampening effect on those who are hoping for this to be okay, and really fuels the bears' expectations of it going lower. So keep an eye here on the US stock market tonight, because this is driving a lot of the moves. You're looking at what happened in the Aussie dollar overnight, then you see the reaction to the good news from Trump, and then the heavy selling that came in afterwards. Really does sort of break the back there of the buyers. Unless this gets reversed really quickly and the rally starts again today, you are looking at the downtrend continuing. The big levels have been broken, and the next big levels aren't until we get down to 72. So we've got a lot of room here on the downside for the Aussie dollar. And although they're getting a little bit more desperate to slow down the selling in the stock market, so far they haven't found the right combination of words to settle the market, and no doubt they will try again though. So that is something to keep a headline on in the next, if you're trading tonight or tomorrow night. Muchin and Navarro have come out. You may see Wilbur Ross come out as well, or maybe straight from Trump himself, something that will help soothe the market tensions. But at the moment, yeah, there's still definite air of negativity here, and the rallies, like I said, are being sold. If you're looking at the euro's got its own set of problems, so it's not just the US dollar strength from safe haven bids which are hurting the US dollar. You've got Merkel under trouble with a coalition, and the EU summit starting today, and it's all about immigration, and that's the main issue that's driving a wedge between the coalition partners in Europe, in Germany, and also countries in Europe, with Italy hitting a hardline approach, trying to protect its borders and turn away immigrants at the door, whereas German and French positions are much more open. And so you are seeing this creating some friction though between the Eurozone countries, but in terms of Germany itself, the actual Merkel is potentially going to lose her job over this, as if she loses support from her coalition. Remember, it took 3 or 4 months to get that coalition to be formed after the German election, so that Germany could be going back to elections very shortly, and that sort of uncertainty is definitely not what the euro needs when it's right near that 115 level, and it's something that you have to keep an eye on here, because it could be the catalyst that gets us moving lower in the combination with that US dollar strength that we've got. Now the pound is not immune to US dollar strength at all, and is moving lower with the euro, but the pound itself has a little bit more support coming from its side of its central bank at the moment, with expectations still pretty strong now, even with the speech from Carney last night that there is going to be a rate hike in August. The bigger issue that's hurting the pound and is keeping on the sellers fed here is the Brexit negotiations have somewhat slowed down, and there's been a lot of warnings from businesses and from the EU that if they don't speed up, they're going to be heading towards a hard Brexit, clean break, and that will be the hardest. The pound will struggle in that environment, even at low levels like we are right now, because the lack of deals, we've got to make more expenses, and potentially lead to lack of investment in the economy, UK economy. So look, everything's really negative right now. We are at sort of year lows though on a lot of pairs, so you have to be somewhat careful of short squeezes. But unless you get the news line to head, you should expect these big levels to be tested and potentially broken. If you want to keep an eye on just the US dollar as a whole, keep an eye on the dollar index. Dollar index is now testing 95. 95 is the big level. We've had a false break a couple of last week, and a failure at there 2 weeks ago. But if this level breaks, then if you can see here, the top side from this point is a lot higher. We're talking about next leg of US dollar strength if this was to break, and probably would coincide with the same time that the euro is breaking 115. So that's something to keep an eye on in the coming days. Makes or breaks that key level. Alright guys, if you want to have a chat about some of the crosses, because there are some few crosses now in play, give us a call on the numbers below. If you're not a member of the Easymarkets dealing room, please sign up with the link below, and someone will be assigned to your account like myself.